Over 30,000 people are licensed to race in the UK. And almost every one of them dreams of becoming the next Michael Schumacher or Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton wins the Turkish Grand Prix and is a 7-time champion of the world.
However, the hopes of many lie on a little bit of luck and a lot of money. Over the course of this documentary, we're going to explore the tales of 6 motorsports mad individuals who come from very different walks of life, as we find out how much money makes the motorsports world go round.
20 years I've probably spent, got to be £500,000.
All facets of motorsports cost an arm and a leg. I mean, this beauty sent me back £5,000. But enough about this old banger. Let's look at something 10 times the price. Just gotta hope it gets me there first. We're here at Alton Park Race Circuit alongside local catering driver Lewis Thompson, where his £50,000 car is considered cheap.
Hi, my name's Lewis Thompson. I'm 20 years old and I race in the Caterham 7 UK Championship. The rear tyres, front tyres, but the slick tyres are quite an expensive consumable on these cars. Probably set you back around £800 a set, and it's one set per weekend, so if you have 7 race weekends, you know, we're talking a few £1,000s, so it is quite expensive. And if this chassis bends, you've basically bent your chassis. It's almost the same as if you've done a Category S on a road car. So you need to get it professionally repaired. Something like that can set you back 4 or 5 grand, something along the line. It's not a cheap fix if you do have an accident. Blowing up an engine can set you back £7,000 because they've stopped making them, so the demand for the engines is high and the supply is low, so that's bumped up the prices.
Rough size range if you've got one?
Yeah, so I think around about new, they're around about £50,000, which is, again, it's an expense for a race car, something that you want to take for a toy on track, but in terms of the grand motorsport scheme of things, you know, you can be looking at almost 5-6 times the price.
We took a trip to Lewis's lockup in Wigan and were greeted by rows of trophies and awards that celebrate his motorsport success stories.
That big one there is my first catering championship. That was in the 310R class. A lot of these wooden pot ones are more recently, so these from last year's Caterham 7 UK Championship where I won that as well.
But just how did his career kick-start, and where did the finances come from?
Yeah, so I'm Barry Thompson, 47 years old, and occupation was it?
Yeah.
Company director. I wouldn't know how much money I've spent, but in 20 years I've probably spent, it's got to be £500,000. You'd think you'd spend on racing and karting and everything else. It's very hard for anybody to do anything in motorsport without the funds to do it. You know, we wouldn't change it. It was great family time together. Yeah, it was expensive, and there's more lows in racing than there are highs. If we turn back time, we'd do it all again.
I think you have to have the money initially to even get into motorsport. So, yeah, I mean, it's quite a big initial cost to get into. It's not something that everyone could do. So I've obviously been fortunate to have the backing from the beginning, from such a young age.
So do you think it would be fairly hard, if not near impossible, to get into if you come from a background where you have no money?
I'd say it's probably near impossible, yeah.
When you think of motorsports, you think of the glitz and glamour of the Formula 1 Grand Prix, the roar of the crowd, the flashing lights. But we're here in Southport, and behind these gates is the garage of an aspiring racer who just never had the funds to make his motorsports dreams come true.
Right, I'm Luke Irvin, I'm 23, I work in Halfords, basically trying to fund a career that I can't afford. My family have never had any money. From a young age, they've always struggled. They got divorced when I was a little bit older, so it's always been a big struggle. So I've never been given this good opportunity to sort of get into racing, really. We found a little championship called F1000 Rally, realised that would cost about £10,000 a year just to compete in it, and my mum barely makes that a year herself.
How did it make you feel knowing you kind of had the ability to go, but you never really had the funding? How does that make you feel?
It's quite sad really, because you look at a lot of other drivers and they're not that great. When you've been told, oh, you can make it if you had this funding or anything like that, it makes you think, I'm never going to receive that. Because you look at people high scale and you think, that is my dream. But they've always come from high backgrounds that have been able to get them where they want to be, which unfortunately I've never been able to get to.
So how does Luke actually compete? We sat down in his bog standard Ford, which one day he hopes to turn into his very own race car.
Yeah, so currently it's a very standard road car. Rough cost of getting this to the level that I wanted to compete is probably going to be about £6,000–7,000, which unfortunately I will probably never have to hand, which is why it's all very bit by bit.
For the majority of aspiring racers, their journey into motorsports starts through karting. However, motorsports legend Graham Butterworth has been in the industry for 60+ years and hasn't played by the book.
My name's Graham Butterworth, I'm 73 years old, and after a lifetime involved in motorsport, these days I run a race team, and I've still got an involvement with running kart racing in this country, and lots of experience. From club level, I've run the largest championship in the UK in terms of numbers that we developed some years ago, right through to starting a championship which developed over the last 20 odd years to be the largest endurance championship. And I've done a lot with karting as well, including bringing some youngsters through with some names that you might know, like Jenson Button and Hamilton and Lando Norris, etc. So they've all come through various things that I've been involved with. When we used to do a questionnaire for kids in karting, we'd say to them, you know, what's your ambition, what you want to do? And they probably fall into two stools. You get some who say, I want to go and drive a touring car, I want to drive Formula 1. You'd also get others who'd say, I want to be an engineer.
Harrison Butterworth, I'm 13, and when I'm older I want to work as an aerodynamicist and hopefully get to Formula 1. I like the science and STEM and those kind of things. And so it was a good blend of all the things together, and I think that's where my heart lies.
Mechanic Chris Weston was once agonisingly close to a podium finish in the British 125 Championships, but now he spends his time working on these.
So my name's Chris Weston, I'm 41 and mechanic for GCI. It's really emotional, do you know what I mean? It's good being part of the team. I think if anyone can't afford to race, it's certainly something I'd look into. Well, I am, that's why I do it. I've got my own house and I can't afford to race, you know what I mean, pay for it all myself, so why not help other people and be involved that way?
What were some of the struggles you went through during that year racing career?
Well, I suppose it was whether I got a brand new pair of trainers or I got a new set of race boots. Do you get what I mean? For me, I wasn't bothered. I wanted race boots. As long as I could go racing, I was happy. I did have a lot of sponsorship, and I can't thank my sponsors enough. If I seen them today, I'd still thank them at the circuit. Do you know what I mean? Because without them, without sponsorship, there's never no racing unless you've got really deep pockets.
However, as Graham has experienced firsthand, money doesn't always equal success.
Yeah, I mean, it's very true to say if you've got a lot of money, it's quite easy to get into motorsport. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be any good, but it does make it a lot easier to get involved. So, you know, there are problems. You do need money. You need to spend your money in the right direction, but you've got to have the talent.
So when it comes to racing, cash is king. But as we've seen, if you want to get involved in the sport, it's the helpers who hold the aces. And speaking of someone with zero talent, I don't think me or this old banger will be making the racetrack